would you do if you found a secret tunnel under your house? Now imagine that tunnel was full of strange photos, symbols, and handwriting notes that you couldn't figure out. Today, we're going to look into one of Hollywood's most puzzling mysteries, the recently found secret passageway under the famous actor Gene Hackman's New Mexico mansion and how it might be linked to the shocking circumstances of his death. If you're interested in star mysteries and strange events, you'll want to read this. Stay until the end and I'll tell you the scariest idea about what this tunnel was really used for. Don't miss our dives into Hollywood's darkest secrets. Subscribe now. Welcome back. This is where we look into mysteries that the major media won't touch. Today's story might be our most interesting one yet. A two-time Academy Award winner, Gene Hackman was the star of classic movies like The French Connection and Unforgiven. His talent has captivated viewers for decades, but behind the investigators are still trying to figure out what happened to Hackman and his wife Betsy Araki after they died at their home in Santa Fe. At first, the reports were vague, and there were no signs of external trauma or carbon monoxide poisoning. But what they found next changed everything. Everything they found under the luxurious mansion, FBI officers found something that wasn't on any plans. A secret tunnel that was carefully kept from the public. This wasn't just a small tunnel, crawl room. There was a purposely built underground passage with reinforced walls and a complex ventilation system. The tunnel was so well hidden that no one knew about it for years. Imagine that one of Hollywood's most famous actors lived above a secret underground passage that no one knew about. Why would such a famous actor need such a complicated hidden structure? What officers found inside adds a lot more to the mystery as they made their way through the narrow. In a passageway, they found wooden crates with yellowed photos of unknown people and what looked like secret meetings. They also found personal items like a vintage pocket watch, jewelry of unknown origin, and most surprisingly, a notebook with handwritten notes that some have called confessions or memories. Since this tunnel was found, many ideas have been put forward. Some people think it was used as an emergency escape route, which is common for famous people who are worried about their safety. Why wouldn't it be in the plans for the property? Others think it was meant to hide valuables or sensitive papers. There was a reputation for Hackman being very private. Maybe this was his way of keeping some parts of his life secret, but that doesn't explain the strange sign that has been carved into the tunnel walls. And even more controversial, the tunnel may have been part of a bigger network that linked to other properties, according to theory. While there is no evidence to support these claims, the unidentified people in the photos have added fuel to the fire of these theories. What makes this case so interesting is how it has sped up the investigation into Hackman and his wife's deaths, which were at first thought to be tragic but not unusual. Their deaths have become the focus of intense scrutiny. The police are carefully looking over all the evidence again, including personal things, medications, and the events that led to their deaths. Investigators have had a hard time putting together the couple's last days because they were very private and liked to keep to themselves. Neighbors said they had become more and more isolated in their last years, which made it hard for investigators to figure out what happened. The preliminary autopsy showed that there was no clear cause of death. There was no external trauma, and carbon monoxide poisoning was checked out. However, the exact cause is still unknown, not yet known until lab reports come in. Since the tunnel was found, officials are trying to figure out if there is a link between this secret structure and the strange circumstances of their deaths. There has been a strong public response. Fans and co-workers have voiced both grief and confusion. The media has been rushing to report on every development, and pictures of the house and artistic renderings of the tunnel have been shared widely online. The story has caught people's attention, which has led to heated arguments. There have been talks about possible links between the tunnel and the couple's deaths. Jennifer LaBaria, who is the executive head of the Santa Fe Film Office, spoke for many people when she said that not only was Gene, a famous actor whose work influenced generations of storytellers, but he and Betsy also lived in Santa Fe for a long time. Their deaths have had a big impact on the community, where they were known as both celebrities and regular people. As with any mystery involving a famous person, The lack of concrete evidence has made things more difficult. Online information has led to crazy ideas. It's important to tell the difference between rumors and facts, which is why we're only looking at what official sources have said. Let's think about Hackman's legacy. Beyond this mystery, his career spanned decades and included roles that changed what it meant to be a character actor. From his famous role as Poe Doyle Hackman in Bonnie and Clyde to playing a cruel villain in Superman, he brought an intensity and realism that few actors could match, just as convincingly as a dedicated coach in Hoobers. After his last movie came out in 2004, he turned to writing novels and produced several successful thrillers that showed off his storytelling skills outside of movies. Throughout his life, Hackman maintained a level of privacy that was unusual for someone of his stature. He rarely gave interviews and avoided the celebrity lifestyle. This desire for privacy makes the discovery of the secret tunnel even more mysterious. What was this intensely private man hiding? The investigation is still ongoing. Stayed silent, which has only added to the rumors. Neighbors have said that unidentified cars have been at the mansion at all times, which suggests that the investigation is still ongoing. The fact that the FBI is involved shows how seriously this finding is being taken. One thing that seems odd is why this cave was found now, after Hackman and his wife had already died. Some people think their deaths might not have been natural, as was first thought. Some people think it's just a coincidence that the strange symbols etched into the stems of the tunnel walls look like ancient runes or mathematical equations. Experts in many fields have been consulted, but no clear answer has been found. As we come to the end of our exploration, think about what this story tells us about privacy, fame, and the secrets we all keep. Even someone as famous as Gene Hackman could keep parts of his life hidden from the public. This tunnel shows how far people will go to keep things secret. Protect their privacy or hide parts of their lives, it has had a big effect on the community. Many Santa Fe residents have had personal encounters with Hackman, and Arakawa local businesses say that more tourists are wanting to see the mansion, even though the authorities have asked people to be respectful. Tributes to Hackman have come in from all over the entertainment industry, with directors and fellow actors praising his work in movies. These tributes remind us that no matter what the Hackman's death and the mysteries of his private life are still talked about around the world. So what does this all mean? The investigation is still going on and many questions remain. Was the tunnel just a private sanctuary? Was it connected to something more sinister? Did it have anything to do with Hackman and his wife's deaths? These questions may be answered eventually, or they may remain mysteries forever. As promised, here's the scariest theory about the tunnel's purpose. The building may have been made during the Cold War, when many Americans built fallout shelters out of fear of a nuclear attack. The strange symbols could be related to radiation warnings or emergency plans. If this is true, it shows that Hackman cared about privacy enough to plan for the worst possible outcomes. In a depressing way of the fears that shaped the generation before, I'll go now. If you found this exploration interesting, click the subscribe button and turn on alerts. Our team works hard to bring you interesting news that others have missed. Won't touch? Share your ideas in the comments. I read all of your comments and might use some of them in our next video. If you want early access to our investigations and other special material, check out our Patreon link in the description. Until next time, always ask questions, look into things, and remember that the truth is stranger than fiction sometimes.